Welcome to this explainer. Right now, I want you to picture a peaceful metropolis at night. Millions of people are just settling in, totally oblivious. But here's the crazy part. Their final seconds are literally ticking away. Planetary annihilation is just moments away. Today, we're looking at a story buried for decades, a critical moment where the destiny of millions wasn't decided by presidents or generals, but by one quiet man whose name was locked away under classified files.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because while the city slept peacefully above, down below in the hidden shadows of world history, the entire globe stood on the absolute brink of total destruction. Picture this, a dark subterranean bunker, harsh volumetric lighting, and flashing crimson emergency alarms going off everywhere. As those heavy steel doors sealed shut, the military operators inside were suddenly trapped with a truly terrifying reality.
It's the ultimate split screen. On the surface, you've got millions of innocent citizens going about their evening, completely untouched by panic, but below ground in the bunker, absolute chaos. You've got sweat-drenched, panic-stricken military operators staring at digital radar screens that are flashing a crimson alert for incoming nuclear missiles. A room full of screaming alarms signaling the ignition of World War III. This terrifying juxtaposition between the calm streets above and the panicked operators below, this is the exact moment human civilization was nearly erased from the face of the earth. Inside that bunker, things are moving insanely fast. Encrypted red phones are ringing violently on metal desks. Commanding officers are screaming through the encrypted lines, demanding action. And the protocol they had to follow? It was terrifyingly simple and rigidly fast. Step 1, report the attack upward. Step 2, input the firing code sequence. Step 3, launch immediate nuclear retaliation. Everyone in that underground bunker is urging him to execute the launch, to retaliate right now before their entire nation is reduced to ash. If he follows this protocol, nuclear warheads are crossing the oceans in minutes. But let's slow down for a second and look at the commander standing before those blinking, glowing radar scopes. He knew exactly what the stakes were for him, personally. Failing to follow those steps, that constituted high treason. We're talking about the crime of betraying one's country, punishable by imprisonment, or worse, execution by firing squad for disobeying direct military orders. So he's standing resolute amid all this chaotic background activity, bearing a massive personal risk as the fate of the literal world rests entirely on his shoulders. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it presents the ultimate conflict, man versus machine. On one side, you have the technical readout on these glowing 3D tactical monitors, showing a split-second warning of incoming nuclear missiles, complete with a digital countdown timer rapidly approaching zero. But on the other side, human intuition. A subtle gut instinct, screaming that the telemetry was horribly, catastrophically wrong. Deep inside his gut, he just knew something wasn't right. His human instinct was actually screaming louder than the alarm bells. So, I want to put you in the hot seat for a moment. Picture your trembling hand hovering just millimeters over the master control toggle. If protocol demanded planetary annihilation, but your gut instinct said otherwise, what would you do? I mean, seriously, with commanding officers screaming in your ear and seconds ticking down to impact, would you follow the military handbook, or would you trust your instinct? Well, this brings us to the incredible climax of our story. He took a deep breath, and he made a choice that violated every single military regulation in the handbook. He reached for the secure communications receiver, and instead of reporting an incoming strike, he called headquarters and declared it a false alarm. He literally bet the fate of the entire world on a hunch, completely refusing to press the red launch button. 20. For 20 agonizing minutes, the underground command center fell completely silent. The sheer heavy weight of that time passing, it was immense. The panic subsided into this cold, breathless wait. Technicians just dropped their hands. They sat there waiting for the supposed warheads to strike their target. Think about that. Every single second of those 20 minutes must have felt like an absolute lifetime. The psychological tension in that dimly lit room, with its heavy shadows and that retro electronic clock ticking second by second in high 3D detail, was absolutely unbearable. He knew that if a nuclear blast detonated above, he would die knowing he disarmed his nation and allowed its complete destruction without firing a single shot back. On the flip side, if he was wrong, the people in the quiet city streets above would be instantly vaporized, and it would be entirely because he chose to do nothing. Let's move to and see how this builds. The digital countdown dropped down through those final seconds. 3, 2, 1, 0. And then, nothing. The alarms abruptly stopped blaring. The tactical screen cleared and returned to a normal, stable surveillance display. You can practically feel the immense, heavy sigh of relief sweeping through the cold air of that room. Above them, the night sky remained perfectly calm and untouched. He had been right. And this brilliantly illustrates what actually happened. The cause was later revealed to be a technical flaw known as satellite sensor misidentification. Basically, a space satellite orbiting Earth had caught the sun's glare reflecting dramatically off high-altitude clouds directly into its orbital satellite dishes. The system glitched. It incorrectly identified that simple reflection of sunlight as enemy intercontinental ballistic missiles. Honestly, an unbelievable trick of the light nearly ended the world.
Now, you would naturally assume the man who single-handedly saved humanity would be showered with accolades, right? A parade, maybe? Instead, the aftermath was entirely different. Despite preventing a full-scale nuclear apocalypse, there was no metal pinned to his chest. High-ranking military officials were intensely embarrassed by these technical flaws, and they were absolutely terrified of the public panic that would happen if the world found out how close they came to the end. So every single witness was sworn to complete secrecy.
So the crucial point is how the military bureaucracy reacted. They initiated a massive cover-up. Embarrassed by the flaws and fearing public panic, they took the incident reports, stamped them top secret, and sealed them away in classified archives. The truth of that terrifying night was locked away in heavy steel archive safes, buried deep in a room filled with endless rows of wooden file boxes. Every witness sworn to silence. Following the timeline of his life after the incident reveals a deeply tragic aftermath. Day 1, the incident occurs. But just months later, he was quietly reassigned and eventually forced into early retirement. He packed his belongings and walked away. He spent his remaining years walking down dark, empty streets in complete obscurity, totally unrecognized by the millions of people whose lives he had saved. It wasn't until decades later that these top-secret records were finally unsealed, revealing his remarkable story to the world. Today, his courage stands as a chilling reminder of how close we truly came to total self-destruction, and how one silent act can save the world. Picture a delicate sunrise illuminating the Earth from deep space. It's a profound, almost cinematic realization that the continuation of human history rested entirely on the quiet intuition of one forgotten commander. So, I want to leave you with this final, chilling thought. In a world increasingly reliant on automated systems and complex algorithms, how close are we to self-destruction? If the machines glitch again, will there be a human being there with the courage to trust their intuition over the data? Could human instinct save us again? It's something to think about. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.